seeing ghosts. Christian is no longer with Nick. And stay tuned as we discuss the state of Sharon's relationship with Ray. Stay tuned for this week's Restless Wrap.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Goodman, and boy do we have a show. Stay tuned as we discuss our laugh out loud moments as well as some news with Michelle Stafford later on, so stay tuned for that video. We have Farah with us today.
Hi guys! Ooh, I love that clapping soundbite. I'm Farah Besharat. I'm so excited to be here again.
Awesome, and we are excited to have you again.
Thanks, Rachie.
You're welcome. So we have a lot to talk about with this custody battle.
I know.
Before we dive in, I'm going to go ahead and give all the fans that are in the live chat a shout out, as well as the people who have written some comments on the @Restless Wrap Facebook page and our video from last week. So in the chat right now, we have Hubby Joe, Mary, Jerry Jax, Shakira Pickens, Doolaman, Todd Beaton. Let me make sure I don't say a name twice, though that would not be a problem. Yeah, I think that's everybody right now, but I'll still give you guys shout outs as you pop in. We have, AfterBuzz TV Dramas is giving a special shout out to all those in the chat, so I had to read that. On our Restless Wrap page, we had Todd Beaton. He said, both Nick and Adam lose Christian. Yes, they do, and we are definitely talking about that today. And then Mary Dell on the Restless Wrap page on Facebook said, Sharon is a douche for helping Adam. Lola needs to get a grip. We're in the 20th century. Hello, wake up. And this Billy storyline, I'm confused. I have so many things to say to that comment.
Yeah.
It was that's pretty powerful. So Mary, we are going to touch on all of those things.
Yeah.
On last week's show, we had Brooklyn Harper. She says, yeah, I think Kyle's secret is drugs, but it got out of control and he had to go to rehab. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was that bad, but I get the feeling that it was definitely drugs, even though we kind of get into that with him talking to Lola about it.
Yeah.
Hubby Joe, great show, great to be back. And then Marty says, yes, but does Adam have a beef with Billy? I don't think it's Adam, maybe Chloe. Interesting. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember what she was responding to with that. But I'm sure we will maybe answer that question as we dive in here.
Yes.
Let's talk about this custody issue with Christian, because I feel like that was the big meat of the show this week with everything going on with Christian. And as I was watching, I got the text from you about Christian aging.
Oh, God. Why do they think that that's normal to just age a child 2 years within the span of a week?
And he talks now.
He talks.
Yeah. It was very jarring. I was pulled out of it. I get it. They probably wanted an actor who could have some lines, which is why they aged him. But it doesn't make sense to me right now when that last week, did he really need to have those lines? No.
And it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Like 1 week he's, 2 years old, barely speaks. And then the next week he's walking in the segment and having full-on conversations. Like, do they not think that the audience is going to question the reality of that being, it's not possible. Yeah. It's just not.
It's not, and it's very awkward.
It's awkward. It makes it awkward for all of us.
And I wonder why they do it with some of the actors and not others. Like Faith, she's been played by the same actress.
She's grown into her character.
And usually when they do it, I feel like a better transition is if they say, oh yes, this child is going to camp. Or in the case of Connor, he hasn't been on in a long time. So if he comes back and he's 10, it wouldn't be so jarring because we haven't seen him in such a long time. He's been at camp. Before that, he was off screen with Chelsea. So I feel like they have more wiggle room and more that they can do with him. Same thing with the adult characters. It always jars me, even in that random moment with Summer when the main actress who plays her couldn't be on set because she was filming another movie.
Oh, yes.
So they had a sub.
Yes.
That was jarring to me.
Yes.
That it was okay. It was only for a week, but what?
And I feel like, what's so funny is this stuff only happens on soap operas.
Yeah.
You don't see these things happening on, series is, you know, it's just weird, and the fact that as an audience we just have to accept it as normal is kind of funny,
because every actor brings a different personality to the role.
Right.
Even the best actor who can transition and play somebody who they're not, they're still bringing their own essence to that role.
Right.
And I know we're going to talk about Michelle Stafford later on, and I think she is doing a wonderful job. I really enjoyed seeing Gina in the same role. I can't see them as the same character, though.
No.
It's like two different people.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting that you say that, because I feel like Michelle brings a lot more humor to the character. Like, I am caught every time she's on screen, I'm laughing. Like,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. But it's funny how two different characters can say the same lines in completely different manners, to the point where it could be interpreted as either humorous or really serious. But I like that she brings that humor element into Young and the Restless.
I like that too, and like even just watching her with Celeste, for example, in the scenes.
Yes.
I felt like, so I can't help it, but right now I'm still in this place where every time I see Michelle saying these lines, I keep translating it in my head to remember how Gina
Me
might
too.
have said it.
I did that too.
And I feel like in that moment, like Phyllis, Gina playing Phyllis had very like deep moments when we saw like a human Phyllis, and we saw a very deeply hurt person.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that I read Gina playing Phyllis is that Phyllis was very quick to temper and very quick to losing it, and that you almost like there was like a manic there was like a manic quality to the character that I don't yet feel that we see with Michelle playing with Michelle playing Phyllis.
Yeah.
With Michelle, I feel like there's like a very deep like power and anger,
and
she's playing it really coolly. Not that Gina as Phyllis didn't play it coolly, but Michelle, I feel like she's out for blood. You don't know what this person's gonna do, and it is going to be like they're gonna see a crazy with Phyllis. But like
she does it in like such a strategic, like powerful. You almost just you want to be on her team. Like you don't care what she's doing. You want to be on her team because you know she's gonna win. And
the way, like, kind of going along what you said too, with her bringing humor to the lines. Yeah. The way that she kind of smiles without actually smiling when she says some of them, it's like okay. And I saw it this week. Like we got a lot of her. I would say we didn't get Phyllis necessarily as a main, like she was there spread throughout the week. We saw her, but not as like a main storyline. Yeah, totally. But we saw so much of her. Yeah. So I guess this is a really good place to kind of talk about it, since she kind of did pop in and out of this custody situation. But we just, I can't wait to see this Phyllis in her element.
Oh yeah.
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 But kind of getting back to the custody itself, were you expecting the judge to rule the way he did?
Not at all. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was sad for that poor child. Like, how do you take this child who doesn't even have a mother out of the only parent's house that he's ever known and just ship him off to like a sibling of the parent? Like, it's just so awkward.
It really made a mess of things too, because Victoria didn't even get to talk about it with Billy. Yes. So I feel like that's going to be a problem for them. Even though I feel like Billy would understand, but Victoria was put in this place where she had to make a decision really quickly.
Yeah.
Billy was in his own, he was having his own issues and couldn't answer the phone.
Right.
But then everything with Christian and like that whole scene, even with Phyllis being involved, but that whole scene with Sharon, Chelsea, where they were all telling Victoria, these are the things you should do with Christian. This is what he likes. Yeah. It was really sad. And it's like
so sad.
And just seeing Joshua Morrow, like just the way that he plays Nick and the emotions, he like that made me tear up watching him say goodbye to Christian.
I know. No, I agree. I feel so bad for this little boy who has to, leave his father's home and comfort, and just it's like it's really up in the air right now. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
And they keep saying it's really going to damage him, and I think that this whole thing will damage Christian, and then we're going to get another troubled character out of this. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We do have some comments in the chat. We have Todd Beaton. Adam should have Christian. Shakira Pickens. Do y'all think Chelsea will get back to Nick or Adam? I have an opinion.
Go ahead.
I think she's going to end up with Nick again. I think that's what they're really going for right now.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to pair, oddly enough, they're going to put Sharon and Adam together.
Oh, yeah, that seems like it, too.
Yeah, because that's another thing to talk about with this. So, I think Sharon's kind of irritating me right now.
She's irritating me, too. I was so annoyed on Friday's episode.
I mean, after everything Ray's been through, we've watched what he went through with Mia.
Yeah.
And now Sharon's not emotionally cheating on him with Adam. And obviously, as far as what we can see right now, she doesn't have feelings for him. But I don't know. I think that there are still feelings for him under there.
There's definitely still feelings for Adam, although she does not want to admit it.
Yeah.
But it's still there. And, Ray can clearly see that. And I think he has every right to speak out of it and want to leave.
And I think it was so disrespectful to that relationship that Sharon would go with Adam.
Yeah.
I get what she was thinking that she told them, or at least I feel like with Sharon, she likes to analyze things and lie to herself and say, well, this is why I did it. And it sounds plausible.
It does, you're right.
Like she was saying to Victoria, I did this for Christian's sake, not for Adam. But you don't do it that way. You talk to, Sharon should have called Nick and said, should have said goodbye to Adam. Okay, Adam, I don't want to be associated with you.
Yeah.
And then called Nick and see what he wanted her to do.
Absolutely. Consult with your ex-husband and the father of your child and see what he thinks is in the best interest of his child.
Yeah, because she's doing exactly what she told Adam she didn't want him to do anymore.
Yeah.
And Ray can see what Adam's doing and what Sharon told him wasn't going to happen again.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just unfortunate because it's like, Ray had, like you said, Ray went through everything with Mia. So wouldn't you want to provide him with peace of mind and reassurance that that's not going to happen again?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's not doing that.
She's not. And she just left. She should have. Christian's not her biological child.
Yeah.
She should have consulted with Ray before ever leaving with Adam.
Totally.
And she should have understood how that would look.
Yeah.
And it's just, so she's irritating me right now. And the fact that she's making these decisions.
Yeah.
Unless she really just deep down doesn't want to be with Ray. But after all that
begging, right?
Yeah, after all that, after the I really I
feel like she likes playing the damsel in distress and likes having two men fighting over her affection. She enjoys it.
And she, the more that I'm seeing her, to me, she's always been a very reasonable character as long as I've been really watching.
Right.
But I feel like deep down, Ray was telling Lola, she has a lot of baggage. And I feel like with that, it brings out a lot of this, even when she doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
And even when she is trying to keep her mental health at check.
Right.
I feel like there's so much buried deep down that could be the reason why she's making all these choices.
Yes.
And that I think her relationship with Ray is obviously over. I don't see it. I don't see this, her getting out of this. I really feel like they're pushing her with Adam.
They're pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And that Adam's just really gonna mess with her. Yeah. Yeah. Because at least with Chelsea, I feel like Chelsea wouldn't take that.
No. I mean, Sharon is definitely far more unstable than Chelsea is. Even though Chelsea pushed her down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, not to say that Chelsea doesn't have her issues.
Oh, yeah.
But she also knows, it's kind of like when I see Phyllis.
Yes.
When we saw Gina as Phyllis, first working with Adam, Gina knew what was up with Adam.
Yeah.
Not Gina, Phyllis. Gina as Phyllis knew what was up with Adam.
Yeah.
She wasn't she wasn't acting like they were friends.
Yeah.
She knew he had an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Sharon just keeps saying, well, he's a good guy. He's been hurt. And she did tell him that he was a jerk to his face and not to bother her anymore, but she's pretty much just he's a good guy deep down, he can be fixed.
Totally agree with you. Sharon reminds me of one of my innocent girlfriends that's dating a narcissist and continuously makes excuses for him, and I'm like, how do you not see that he's evil?
Yeah.
I just want to sit her down and show her the way and show her the light.
But it's funny because, like, somebody like Sharon, if you like, she knows what Adam is doing. She's seen it at this point.
Yeah.
She's still choosing to talk to him.
I know.
And kind of ignore all of this. And, ugh.
That's why I kind of feel like half of it is her innocence, and then the other half is, like, she likes it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like, she just deep down wants that crappy guy and not the good guy. Like, a good guy to her. She can't be with him. Yeah.
Nope.
We have a couple more comments here. Jerry Jacks, Sharon has more baggage than JFK Airport in New York.
That's funny.
Let's see. We have Aaron Brody. Chelsea personality is off. How do you feel about that? Do you think that we're seeing the same Chelsea as before?
Well, when she first left Young and the Restless, she threw Sharon down a flight of stairs, and something else happened. What else happened? I forget.
When she left, I'm going to agree with Aaron. So when Chelsea left, she was in... First of all, I don't get that they're just welcoming her back.
I know, we discussed
talked about that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing with her actual personality... I mean, it could just be that it's been over a year at this point since she was on the show. So maybe the character had time to grow. So
but it's still frustrating that they just brush these really big parts of the show, under the rug, and we're supposed to just accept it, just like we're supposed to accept that Christian is all of a sudden 5 years old. It's like there's a lot of things with Y&R that we question as the audience. But it's like there's no answers for it. Yeah. It's like, it is what it is. Yeah. Just deal with it, guys.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I mean, with a show that runs 5 days a week, I guess it is kind of hard. Even in series, sometimes you can't bring the same actor back. So I could see why, but it's still frustrating.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like there's something we are missing with Chelsea.
We're missing something.
And it would honestly irritate me to see Chelsea with Nick again, but I feel like that's where they're headed with it.
It's already happening.
Yeah. She's already hugging him, consoling him. I almost thought that for a second they were going to put her back with Adam, though, when Adam said that he would drop the custody situation.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
Yeah, if she said she would be with him. Even though he ended up saying it was a test.
I almost wish she would have accepted that offer so that Nick could keep his child.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Chelsea even said later that, Nick and Chelsea both kind of realized that even if she had said yes, he probably still would have gone after Christian anyway, and there was nothing that she could have done. She could have postponed it, but that was about it. Yeah. But the whole thing with the judge saying, he's not going to go to either of you, it just, I don't know. It just, something felt off about that whole hearing in general.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, does that happen in real life? Is there? I've
so.
Never heard something like that happening where two parents or whatever are fighting for custody, and the judge says, well, you're both not fit to be parents, so bring me the next best thing.
Yeah, especially when, here's my issue with it. So he sees these two people, and the judge has deemed that they're not fit to be parents. Yeah. He hasn't seen Victoria.
That's what I was just thinking.
So how does he know? I feel like they wouldn't just give the child to the next relative.
Because, hey, if we want to look at, Victoria's history, she was also on trial for murder, right? With JT, so.
And honestly, I personally think Victoria is gonna she's a good substitute we had to pick somebody, but how does the judge know that?
He doesn't.
And Victoria works all of the time, so not that,
we don't even see her own kids being taken care of.
Yeah. And I get that when Nick was with Dark Horse, he was also working a lot too, but I just feel like he would put Christian first before Victoria. Not that Victoria's a bad parent, but she's also
just not his parent.
Yeah, exactly. She's not Christian's mother, and it just makes the whole situation a lot harder for her. It's like now she's got 3 children that she's actively taking care of, 3 younger children.
Poor Christian, as if he wasn't confused enough going with his father, who has a new wife every year. Yeah, that becomes the substitute mother. Yeah, now he has to live with his aunt
after everything with Victor. So it's just, poor kid.
And what's crazy is that Nick was like, you're going to go live with Victoria for a little while. And he goes, why?
Yeah, why?
Why? And he kind of explained it to him, and the kid's like,
Yeah.
Like, he didn't show any reaction.
Yeah,
I'm like, why didn't you cry a little bit?
Yeah.
Say something, some kind of emotion.
At least if it was the other actor who was playing Christian, the younger kid, I could see him not giving as much of a reaction because he's younger. But the child is a little bit older. I feel like we should have gotten something.
We should have gotten some kind of reaction. If the goal of the show was to age him so that he could have a say in who his parent is or what his preference is, then utilize that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Why isn't he talking? Why isn't he showing any emotion? Like, let's get what your ultimate goal was.
And I think that they could have aged him a little bit more if they were going to age him at all. Like, maybe make him... I'm assuming this child is maybe like 7 or 8.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That might be... it could be a little too old, but I assume like 7 or 8. We could have gotten a child who was maybe like 9 or 10... And then they would have been conversing a little bit better more and just kind of showing more. If that's what I just don't like you. I don't understand what the point was to age him right this second. Yeah. We've got a couple of comments here. We're starting to get into Billy, which we could talk about him next. Todd Beaton also says, love to see Abby with Christian, I guess, taking care of him. And then Jerry Jack says Billy is going to dress Christian up and start calling him Delia.
Oh, God. That's actually funny.
And then everyone's like laughing at Jerry. Yeah, that's very interesting. But before we get into everything with Billy, we definitely have an announcement we'd like to make about our fans and everything with AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah, we just want to thank you guys again for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We love having you guys join us. We love your feedback and all your commentary. If you are on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and give us a thumbs up and what else?
5 stars.
Oh yeah, well if you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and give us comments, because we will definitely give you a shout out on air if you do that. But yeah, we love your support, and we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, really, thank you guys for definitely always showing up. We have so many amazing fans every week on this show who I consider our co-hosts.
Yes.
So thank you guys for showing up and being here. Speaking of comments, we have another one from Shakira Pickens. She says, I don't understand Chelsea. Before Adam died in 2016, she was by his side when he was locked up in jail, and she went on the run with him and their son Connor, and now she's acting funny towards Adam. Girl, bye. I love that last part.
Bye.
Girl, bye. Yeah. I don't get it either. I just think that it's all topsy-turvy, and that if Chelsea had found out that Adam was still alive back, in 2016, I feel like even before she left a couple years later, she still would have been, jumping at the chance to get back with him, or at least feel a little more conflicted about this.
She was so upset when he died.
Yeah. I feel like Adam is the love of her life.
Yeah.
So I do kind of want to see them together.
I do too.
Let's talk about Billy. Since we had some comments earlier.
Yeah.
And everything going on. While we had everything with Victoria and Christian, and we haven't really seen Billy's reaction to that yet, we had everything separately with Billy and Delia.
Yeah.
And the last thing, I'm going to just jump to the last part, because up until this last moment, I just thought that Billy was having a breakdown.
Yeah.
And I didn't think any of this was real.
Something else is going on.
But then we heard Delia's voice at the end, at the grave.
Can I just... On a side note, I want to let you know how much these storylines affect me subconsciously. I kid you not. I had a dream last night that there was a ghost haunting me. There were drawers opening up, writing on the wall. That is how much YNR affects me.
Oh my God.
So I just want to let you know that.
So if anyone from YNR is listening, maybe, chill out on the ghost storyline.
Because it's really affecting my dreams at night, let me tell you.
Hashtag Farah needs to sleep.
I do. It was so scary. But yeah, the storyline is scary. It really is.
Yeah.
It's like a mystery that I don't think we've ever had like that on YNR. It's something that is unraveling before us, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah.
So YNR, keep storylines like that coming, because it really is exciting for the viewers.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that they could really play it either way. They could play it that it's her ghost. Usually they don't. Usually they make it look like that. Like, I'm just thinking of Mariah, for example, when she came in and played the ghost of Cassie, and then that, ended up not being her at all.
Yeah.
I would like to see them actually play this out the way that we think that they're playing it. Yeah. And not have it be in his mind. But I legitimately thought it was all in his head until that last moment. I guess it still could be in his head and that he's hearing things, but I don't even know if he heard this voice. That was the whole thing, is that they didn't show his reaction to it, or at least they kind of cut away too quickly. It almost sounded like it was Delia off screen commenting, and that Billy didn't hear it, but that we, the viewer, were listening. Like, she was now talking more to, her voice was more so we could hear that she was still there. And that she's back to tell him something.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I'd like to see if he heard it or not. I want to know if he is actually aware of these voices. Yeah. And it's not just us hearing it as the audience.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like, they could play it again next week, and then it turns out it is in his head, and he is hearing it, and it's like this whole breakdown situation, but I don't know. I think that...
Regardless, the writing on the wall, the doll that was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Either there's someone out to kind of mess with his head a little bit. I mean, I don't see any other explanation.
But then, and it's funny because his dreams are coinciding with what he's seeing. So it feels like they're setting it up to be more than that, but it could just be that he's perceiving it that way and that the writing is kind of happening and it's influencing his dreams. So it's kind of hard to say right now what they're doing with it and what is actually going to come out of this, because everyone he's told obviously kind of thinks he's crazy.
Sorry, Chloe's daughter, the one that we have not yet to meet.
The one that's still alive, that is in Portland with her. We saw her before they left, like a couple of years ago, but it's been a long time.
Was it ever confirmed who the father was?
Not that I know of, but
I have a feeling it's Billy's.
So if anyone's listening right now and can tell us who the father of Bella is, I had thought that it was somehow Kevin, but...
Because from what I remember, Chloe stole Billy's sperm from somewhere. And I think that's how she became impregnated with his sperm. And I think that's kind of where they're trying to take this storyline.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm seeing... So Todd Beaton says, this Billy storyline was done 3 years ago with 3 actors. 3 different actors have played Billy since then. So it sounds like they did it with another actor playing Billy.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know that I was really actively watching at that point, so it's something definitely to look up later. And now we have some comments about Chelsea. Jerry Jack says Delia is back to tell him to go back to General Hospital.
Oh my god. That's funny.
She's haunting me.
Oh god.
Now next week we're gonna start seeing GH
on the walls.
Oh yeah.
Go back to GH, Billy.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
That would be really funny.
And then Jerry Jacks, AfterBuzz TV dramas. Shout out to Billy. And then Jerry Jacks, do a new heart. Billy wakes up, and it's Billy Miller, and Delia is alive.
Oh, I liked Billy Miller.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, well, all right. So I think we kind of touched enough on Billy for one show.
Yeah, if we talk about it anymore, you guys, I'm going to have more nightmares tonight. So let's move on.
And we don't want that to happen.
No, enough.
So something that probably isn't happier, but in my mind it's happier. Let's talk about Lola and Kyle.
Okay.
So, first of all, we had a couple of comments that we read about how Lola basically needs to just be more mature about this. Would you be reacting the same way as her if you found out that the man you were about to marry had a very interesting past? And I kind of have a story that goes along with this, so...
Y'all, I live in LA. So, most of the men that I've dated have a history. They have some kind of past. unfortunately. If you're listening to this anywhere else in the country and you're single, hit me up. Because, yes, the men in LA, they all have Billy history.
Restless Wrap, a.k.a.
I'm single!
Let's find Farah.
Find me
somebody.
A boyfriend. But yeah, so it's like, and this is happening on Y&R, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's a Tuesday night for me. It's like, so it's unfortunate that in LA, like, every guy that you hear about, they have some kind of history. So to me, it's like normal. But I can understand for someone who is a little bit more sheltered, maybe not from this side of the country, like, this could be a little shocking to them, especially since she's so much younger and she was a virgin before him. So
yeah, and she's also dealt with a lot with him, and I think that too part of the burn comes from Summer and how, like, Kyle specifically said it didn't have to do with being in a bad place because of her, but I think that that's where Lola went. But beyond that, like, the story that this whole storyline with Kyle having this past keeps making me think of a friend of mine.
Okay.
Like, maybe 5-6 years ago, she dated this guy, and it came out that he had slept with maybe 30 to 40 women.
Lord.
And she, like, before her. Okay. So not like she wasn't cheating on her or anything.
Oh, okay.
But it just makes me think of this because to her, and, like, this was back in Pennsylvania, from outside of Philly, to her, it was like, what? Like, I can't be with this person anymore because it was such an insane, like, to her, that number was ridiculously
so
high when it's like, for her, I think maybe she had slept with like 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, like with this Billy situation, I could see why Lola's reacting with this way because he was her first. She's not, it isn't like the purse situation where she's saying, oh, we can't be together, goodbye, and like breaking up with him for buying her a purse. Yeah. But it's still kind of hard to imagine. And like if I was in her position, like I'm like with you, like most people I know have, are up there. Number.
There's some kind
and
of
they've
issues.
done things that, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But still, to me, it's different hearing about it than actually being with that person and finding out that they have this crazy past.
But also, if I met someone who was like, listen, like, this is what happened in the past, I've worked on myself, I've improved, I'm a good human now, I will take care of you, I'll be like, all right.
Cool.
That's fine.
Yeah. No,
as long as you've moved past it and it wasn't like last Sunday night where you were like,
like talking to you and like talking to them.
Like, that would not be okay.
Yeah. So. No, I get you there. And I think that they're going to get through this. It was just the added element of like what Theo's doing now and everything. Like, he's really hyping this up to sound worse than what it is. And like getting her mother involved and just, I just feel like Theo is going to keep trying to sabotage this relationship. And while Kyle is like, I'm not that person anymore, I think that Theo has other plans and that he's like, I feel like before we get to this marriage, Theo's going to try and wreck this relationship and drag Kyle back into things again. Yeah. And that's now become his goal.
Yeah, I think he does want to demolish that relationship. He's like, I don't want to see this. I want my party friend back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it's like misery loves company. He doesn't want to see this. Like, I think to him, it's like, oh, well, this guy was my party friend, and now he's like goody two shoes and like acting that, in a way that, makes him unhappy because he sees somebody else being happy and doing well for themselves.
Right. Yeah. Totally agree.
So, on that note, the only thing really left to talk about with that situation is that we had some really nice scenes with Celeste and Lola and Ray, and even a nice touching scene between Celeste and Summer.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
That was so outside of like what Summer's character really is, like a troublemaker, selfish, self-righteous, whatever. She was just, there was like a very kind aspect to her to sit down with Celeste and basically speak very highly of Lola and what she did. Yeah, so it was interesting for me to see that.
And her taking the blame and saying that it was her fault for the marriage.
Yeah.
We know how angry she was.
Yeah.
And I still don't fault her completely because
No, I
Kyle's
don't.
the one who offered.
Absolutely.
And Kyle did, like, give Summer a part of him that he didn't have to give if he really wasn't into her at all.
It makes me sad that Kyle isn't really taking any accountability for basically manipulating her into marriage.
Yeah. And that's why I think that they're gonna run into some issues with their relationship too.
Yes,
later on.
absolutely.
With the time that we have left, let's pull up the interview with Michelle Stafford really fast because she had a couple of things to say about Y&R.
Do you realize, because I know you're busy in the trenches doing the work, do you
just to
realize
clarify,
that you've been back on Y&R?
This interview happened just today.
You get that.
Is it? No,
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Is it?
I it's funny because I think people, and they'll say in the chat, and they're already saying in the chat room, it's just the fact that, because you played it for so long, then left and went to another successful character. Like, you weren't just like floundering around, like, what do I do in my life? You were busy doing other stuff. You have a business, you're busy. To come back to a character you created that was so popular, it's a big deal. I don't know if you get that. It's a very big deal. People are so excited and so happy.
Wow.
No, seriously.
That's really nice.
They're like, wow, because they're like, oh, yeah, she's back. Good.
Wow. I try not to pay attention to, not that I'm trying to like shun anybody.
Yeah.
But it's a real important thing because I've really approached this like it's a new job.
I was going to ask you how it's like stepping back into the role you
I approach it like it's a new job, that everything is new. And treat it like this is new. I'm playing this new character, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's best while you're going through this beginning period to not to just do the work,
right? To just go in,
do the work.
So
and not
that is not to cut off Michelle Stafford, but that was a clip of some of the interview that James Lott Jr. did earlier just today with AfterBuzz Studios. You can check out more of it to see the full clip with Michelle if you go to our regular main channel and just search for Michelle Stafford's name, and you can get that. It seems like, just from the bits I've been able to watch, it seemed very interesting. She had a lot to say, not just about Y&R, but General Hospital and just in general, and it's very interesting to see what she had to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We love Michelle here at AfterBuzz.
Absolutely.
So the fact that, James got an interview with her, an exclusive interview at that, is amazing. We're very proud of him. We're very proud of our network. So please check that out, and we'll talk about it maybe more next week.
Yeah, definitely. With the time we have left, let's quickly get to our law moment. Farah, did you want to go first?
So my law moment was basically between Phyllis and Celeste. How initially, when Celeste confronted her, it was like shocking for her that she was being so sweet and kind, and just that whole conversation in and of itself was funny, but particularly the part where Celeste said, "Oh, you must be so proud of your daughter Summer." In the back of my head, I was thinking, yeah, she's proud of the fact that she slept with her ex-boyfriend, Billy. Like, talk about awkward. But yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And then mine was when we had that conversation between Kevin and Michael, and they were talking about how to deal with Adam.
Yeah.
And Kevin saying he doesn't want to kill Adam. Look at his track record. It wouldn't last anyway. I thought that was hilarious.
Not with these writers that like to bring people back from the dead.
Exactly. And then just to segue really fast too into our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I don't think that they're gonna make Delia a ghost. I think there's somebody behind this. I'm not sure who. I do think they're gonna bring Chloe and her daughter, what's her new daughter's name?
Bella.
Bella into the show, somehow incorporate her. And I think Billy's gonna find out that Bella is his daughter.
Ooh. This goes along with predictions in the chat, and I'm going to say it because it's a really fascinating theory. Sure. Hubby Joe says, Kyle and Theo were a couple in New York. Aaron Brody, that's what I think too, Joe. Theo acts like a jealous lover, and that is what they're hiding.
Oh my God!
So I'm I'm going to say that I agree with both of them. Those are my predictions.
Such a good prediction.
And I think it's so good that I think we just need to end there on that prediction. Farah, where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me on Instagram at Farah_Naz_B.
Awesome. And I am Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Instagram at Rachel Radner Author or on Twitter at Rach Goodman. You can also find me on my readers page on Facebook at Rachel Radner. And you can find the Restless Wrap page on Facebook at Restless Wrap. Until next week, have a wonderful week. We will catch you next Sunday, same time, same place. Bye, everybody.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.